6 years ago, guys, 6 years ago I started collecting red Corsairs because of my love for chaos, and that was the first experience, the first army that I had the pleasure to play 40k with. And now, after 6 years, my initial plans for the army are complete. So, as I said 6 years ago, I went to Helsinki and got this guy. Huron Blackheart was the first Red Corsair model that I ever painted. It was painted very badly, and in time I repainted him, but he is the guy that started it all in the fluff in my life. Then afterwards he found a machine of destruction that joined his force. A Hellbrute joined him, and so from then on I knew that I want a massive force. Following that, my good buddy Sven, he was hosting a campaign in which and the campaign only lasted for 1 day, and in that I was playing my Dark Ravens chapters, and they stole a ancient book that was a relic from my spaceship, and by doing so the spaceship started blowing up. So in the end I didn't manage to escape the pods, but I got I offer from, I think back then it was Space Marines, to give them the relic, and then they will let me into their escape pod, in which I refused. So the ship got exploded and my 5 Dark Ravens flew out into the space, but the relic saved them, covering them with some kind of safety bubble, and so on the chaosific corruption of those 5 Marines began, and in the end the 5 guys joined the Red Corsairs, and those were my very first Chaos Space Marines that later on expanded into 10-man guys. With that, the army had reinforcements with an extra squad of 10 Chaos Space Marines and a 5-man guys to fill up the previous 5-man squad. And then also joining the force were 3 Milta Biker squads and 2 Chaos Spawns to join the fray. What was interesting about this addition is that the Chaos Space Marines to the right, they are mixed with the Marauder kit, and I've done that to represent their religiousness towards Khorne, and that should be always represented on the battlefield by showing off their savageness, and the banner that shows the symbol of Khorne. Afterward, Huron discovered a sorcerer that wanted to join his legion, and thus the force had their new sorcerer on the battlefield. The sorcerer was very interesting to put together. It was a mix of possessed parts that Sven gave to me, alongside with some Lizardman parts, Blood Angel parts, and some Chaos Warrior stuff from fantasy back then. It was a very fun conversion to do, and I'm still happy to this day how it turned out, and that was the sorcerer. Then Huron found 2 rhinos for his 2 Chaos Spaceman squads and a Chaos Lord on bike that was meant to lead the biker squads into the battle and even beyond. Chaos Lord conversion was also very interesting to make. It was a mix of different kinds of parts. Mostly it was a mix of Chaos Lord and Terminator armor parts, and that was the head and the axe for this guy. Also a lot of banners were cut down to get the skulls on his on front of his bike. Also Marauder shields were used to decorate his bike even more. And then this back gold piece was a Terminator front armor piece that I cut out and used it for his saddle. At this moment and day he doesn't see that much of action on the tabletop, but that might change very soon. Then we got reinforcements, and that reinforcements were 5 chaos bikes in addition to the existing 3, and those bikers had the 2 flamers. But in a battle, and lots of battles, Huron decided to split the 2 biker squads in 2 units of 4 instead of 3 and 5. And that's the setup that we see now on the channel, and I'm still stand true to that setup and not planning to change anytime soon. After all said and done, I remember the best part of my first games, and that was a Demon Prince standing behind rhinos that covered him and slowly marching towards his enemies, and when he got close he managed to slice everyone and open all the tanks that was needed to be opened. Nowadays that's not the case anymore, but I'm still wanted to include a Demon Prince because I think he's still a very important addition to any Chaos Space Marines army. To this day the Demon Prince is a fantastic looking model. I really enjoyed painting him, but I thought that it was a pain in the ass. There are a lot of thinking, a lot of screaming, and a lot of debates. I finally decided to add a massive beast to my list that I didn't like the look of initially, but he was a very crucial part in every Chaos Space Marine army, and I don't know how I can live without him anymore. I don't think that my Red Corsairs would do better without him, and that's why he's in my army and in the list, and I'm really pleased that I had the pleasure to paint this guy up and play with him. And I present to you the Heldrake. The list needed some hard-hitting stuff, and that's when the Maulerfiend came in to the picture. A fantastic looking model, a fantastic experience to paint, still one of my favorite models that I ever painted. I'm very glad that he was added. I'm really glad that he kicked some asses. I'm really glad that he was a centerpiece of my Red Corsair vs Space Wolf battle report. He is a gold part of this army, and I'm not going to stop playing him anytime soon. That's how he got into the final list. Now the board is getting very cramped, but we needed to fill up a battalion detachment, and that's when the Forge World Cultist came into play. They are very cheap, very good, and what's a Red Corsairs army without cultists? And the color scheme for them is different from the main red and black and gold color scheme. They follow the same pattern as the bases to make them camouflaged. And now guys, the very last addition to the force for this moment, and my initial plans will be completed, and everything that comes afterward will be an extra addition, is the second Maulerfiend. Finish him right now, half an hour ago, maybe even more. And here he is, with his tongue sticking out. He is going to be accompanying his brother, and I have no place to place him. No, I have one here. Let's hope that he fits. Put the rhino a little bit here, and him in the back. And that's my Red Corsairs list. Here before you, you see 1700 points. And I still have a Chaos Lord in Terminal Armor with 2 pair of Lightning Claws, 5 Raptors with 2 Meltas, Chaos Lord Daemon Juggernaut, and a very secret box from Forge World, an ancient relic. A very ancient relic that Huron dug up from his last journey, and that relic will be soon joining the party and wreaking havoc. And thanks to that, Huron will be feared. He will be feared in the local galaxy. By that I mean the local community, and be hated.